Hi guys, this is the second part of my international wishes for 2025. Last time we talked about the Russian-Ukraine war, and we pointed out that in supportive of the mere shaver, that the NATO should bear primary responsibility for the war. Okay? And then I heard somebody was criticizing Trump, because Trump basically said the same thing or similar things. But I heard one guy in the X saying that Trump is a traitor. I disagree. I mean, those are just, we need to have a sober analysis, just take the ideology away for a while at least, and then find out what is the reasons or forces that are behind this war. That's the first and number one job that we need to get a to take a to put an end to this war. Okay. After my first video, there's one guy who left a message on my YouTube channel saying that I think you're right. He says, just imagine that if we ask if you would if like Putin like basically did the same thing to us, like making the Mexico part of the anti-American alliances, right? And that will be the case that the U.S. will be overreacting. Definitely, they will say, "Hey, that's a you know, national security that we have to enter Mexico and then crash this, okay, to defeat this." But then you think about this, I think that the empathy, international empathy, is very important because there was no like a uh, top-down international entity to govern all the countries. We have to talk. We have to, kind of consulting each other, kind of to talk to each other, negotiate each other. So that's why international empathy is very hard because we don't really know a lot of other countries, what's going on. And meanwhile, we are such a strong country that it makes it easy for us to just say, hey, we'll be standing on this side and not this side. We're going to fight this guys and this guy because this guy's the bad. We have to, defeat them at any cost. But you have to think about this, think about this international empathy, to think about basically put yourself in the shoes of others and then that, Confucian says that basically says that if you don't want something for yourself, you don't make that happen to somebody else. That's not 100% correct because sometimes we do have a law. If something is justice, even though we disagree, we don't want to happen to us. We may want to make that happen to the enemies, right? So that's one way to achieve justice. So Confucius is not 100% right, but a lot of the cases we need mutual understanding. We need consulting. We need learning of other situations. Think of this. The Korean Wars actually how the Korean War started. Now we know that the communists had a lie. They were saying when they were mobilizing the Chinese, the basically Chairman Mao was saying that the American imperialism, they started war and they're trying to get into China, right? So that's how they mobilize people to get into the war, right? It's a heavy casualty. But if you think about this, why the Chinese and why Beijing was so sensitive. An important reason is that the guy Korean basically next the door to China, so it's easier for them to convince the Chinese, say, hey, we have to do something. Otherwise, what country, our national security will be in great danger, great risk. Okay, so that's kind of the same thing. I'm not saying that you know Putin should that are justified to invade Ukraine. You know, there are two kinds of war. One is the civil war. That's basically ongoing in many countries, especially in the third world countries, every day as we're speaking. Civil war is a civil war. Basically, if the people in a country decide to kill each other, you know, to a certain extent, that's their business. Okay, of course, we don't want that to happen, right? We try to avoid that. We try our best, but to a large extent, we don't have much control. However, we do have more control when it comes to international conflict, international hard war. That's what happened. Putin, you know, before Putin invasion, basically there was some conflict inside Ukraine, especially the few regions in the eastern Ukraine. But after all, it's still, no matter how bad it is, it's still a civil war. Okay, it's still a domestic affair. Putin, you know, make that an international hard war. You know, to as much as I believe that Putin. I really wish that Putin should return all the land that he grabbed. You know, because he has no right of doing that. So I'm not saying that Putin has the right to invade Ukraine. I really wish that Putin would be defeated because otherwise, you know, he would think that it's like something happened in the Crimea. You know, he did something, invaded the Crimea, and then international society didn't say anything. He thought he can duplicate that. This time we won't let that happen. We will support Ukrainian people as much as possible. On the other hand, there's another important thing. I really think that the what at least the minimum that could be happen in 2025 after Trump took power, because I lost my faith in Biden administration. When Trump took power, take over the power, he might be do something like have a temporary, like 3 months or 6 months temporary ceasefire. Why is that important? Because a ceasefire, at least like 3 months, should give the Ukrainian people a time to vote. Okay, we need to hear what the Ukrainian people really want, and then the best way to do that, the best way to learn that, is to through another domestic election. Then, if they hate war, if they want to vote out, I mean, I won't use the word vote down. I'm just like a Winston Churchill, after the end of World War II, people voted him out. If that same thing could be happening to Zelensky, we have to listen to people's voice. Okay, and during the war, you can hear too much voices, especially different voices. But in a ceasefire, 3 months or 6 months, then we can have an election, and then we'll decide what happened to the war, to the end of it. Okay, we basically listen to the domestic voice, and then that's the end of it. Okay, that's my idea. I think that's the end of the Russian-Ukraine war. The minimum that we can have a ceasefire and then have an election, and then we'll go from there.